The following program deals with a controversial
subject.
The theories expressed are not the only possible interpretation.
The viewer is invited to make a judgment based on all available information.
The top talents in the comic book business are here to tell everything they know.
Welcome, everybody, to a special Industry of Comics episode. This is our fourth special, I believe we've done, fourth or fifth special.
Yeah,
I believe we've done. Yep. That's the thing about podcasting, you guys. Sometimes it's not, we try to work around our guest schedules as much as possible, because that's the thing, we want to bring guests on this channel, and sometimes you got to work around that. And when it's an important thing, I think our first special might have been Ethan Van Sciver following the death of Ed Piskor, when we talked about cancel culture.
That's number one. Yep.
We had Rob Liefeld, I believe, on a special, Gary Beekler, I believe, on a special, Nerdrotic, and Eric July on a special, which was all those, great episodes.
Well, and actually, it's kind of funny. The last episode, we were like, hey, we're trying to get retailers on. And that first, 2 months, 3 months, we're calling all of our retailer buddies that we wanted to get on the show. And they were like, new comics show up on Tuesday, right? And I'm here till like midnight, making all the orders and pulling all the pulls. I'm not doing your stupid little show on a Tuesday night. And then all of a sudden, we had a bunch of them, back, 6 months ago. I was like, hey, I can do the show on a Tuesday night. Oh, because we've got 1,000 people watching now. Yeah, let's do this.
2,000, but that's okay.
I'm talking live views.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So, we've had a very interesting couple of months, as well as not couple of months, almost half a year now, with the Industry of Comics show. We've been talking pretty heavy about the Diamond Comics stuff, right? That's been a big deal, and multiple other things. But recently, we've had quite a bit of talk in the content creation world, the collecting world, creator world, industry world, whatever you want to say, with a certain book that was talked about a lot in San Diego, and that being the Fame books from TidalWave Productions. We've had Darren Davis on before with us. Really quickly, you guys, go check out that episode. I believe I dropped it in a live chat earlier. Darren came on the same episode. I believe Dan Mendoza came on first to talk about Still Ilcon, or maybe setting up Still Ilcon. Yep. Then we had Sean Hudachko and Darren on with us, because we were talking about the Taylor Swift books. And listen, Darren won all of us over on that episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was great. And, a few weeks ago, me and Darren talked, and I said, Darren, I think that one of the best things that you could do is come on a show or some podcasts where you feel, comfortable. And, you really did a great job on our show. I think you won over a lot of people, and we invited him back on. And, he said he would be on as soon as he can, and he just got back from being out of town. Ladies and gentlemen, we bring you to the show, Darren Davis. Darren, how's it going? Look at it, catching him right in the middle.
Hey guys, just hanging out here. Oh, I'm sorry, I was just reading my little book. Oh yeah, Fish Spider. Cute. Oh, cute. And then this entire comic book. Wow.
Yeah.
Ironic. Hey guys, thanks for having me back. It's been a while.
It has, but we're glad you're here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And in comic years, though, it's only been like 3 days. So just
Yes.
Well, cheers.
Cheers
I brought
to
my
you.
wine.
Yes.
In my copyright infringement Batman glass.
Hey, you got to laugh at it somehow, man. Listen, you have been the talk of the town for a lot of places lately. I mean, have your ears been burning constantly?
Yeah. A little bit. Yeah, it's been a fun month. Yeah, it's just, or 2 months since Dallas. That's when all the weird controversy, as you kind of name this podcast, honestly is literally started by a bunch of egos that are bouncing around because of drama and there's no legal issues. And this is all unnecessary, but I'm super happy to talk to you guys. So this is all great. So
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit, because, I think the real heat kind of started on the, I say this, the block is hot, right? Like, a little fun little thing there, but the block really got hot, I think, when Key Collector dropped this email that he had gotten, and which felt a little bit off. Some people were saying, what is this? What's going on here? Can you give us a little information on that? Because I think that's a good place to start on all this.
So ironically, the Key Collector thing, I'm glad you brought that up. It's surreal, because what lawyer sends a letter? Hi. So I never got that part. Whether it's real, whether it's not, doesn't matter. We're within our First Amendment rights. But the ironic thing what Key Collector did is they were told to take down, and if you could say, can you remove the images of this derivative work, all that type of stuff. But they posted it on Facebook. So that's where I'm like, they posted the image. If you scroll over, I don't know if you can, they posted the image, and I'm like, okay, they just told you to take it down legally, but you're putting it up here.
Yes.
And
great
so
point.
I don't get it.
That's a great point.
But you know what? Key Collector now, they're doing their own exclusives. So I do think once journalistic places like Wizard Magazine, when they used to do their own product, and Key Collector, when they're doing their own product, they have it becomes skewed a little bit. So
yeah, I mean, CGC, we've talked about that with the CGC books and their own exclusive. Can you tell us, what do you think the whole thing with Key Collector? I mean, do you think what that was? Was that?
Once again, we get cease and desist all the time. And when they actually look into the cease and desist, the people that send them, and when we send them our information back, there's nothing to cease or desist. So that has been across the board for everything that we've ever done. And don't you think that if DC or Marvel or whoever, DC with this one, they would send something to me, not Key Collector, and why didn't Cover Price get it? So yes. I don't know. I thought I had a good relationship with Key Collector. I think a month before, he asked me for all our titles, and we've done 1,700 titles within the 25 years. And this is our 25th anniversary so you can kind of see 25th anniversary.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Thanks. So I don't get it. I don't know, whatever, and fine. So it's just another, we did really well. I think all of this sort of started off, to be honest, at Dallas Con, because we had, I think it was like 240 variants. But what people are freaking out about over that is that, there are some, like if there's a foil version or if there's a metal version and that type of stuff, that's what they took into consideration. But it wasn't 240 different titles that were out there. So it's a little misleading, as a lot of the information about us is so misleading. And so,
well, that's
mind-blowing.
You don't see any problem with that image, that Joker Batgirl image?
I think we're within our First Amendment rights to do it. Yeah, I think it was tacky for us to do it. I totally do.
But the First Amendment of free speech, there's copyright law that beats out free speech.
That there's no Batgirl. As one of the biggest Batgirl fans ever, it's changed at least 20%. I get it looks like them, but once again,
come on.
Hold on, listen.
There's a difference between.
Listen, can I finish my statement?
Sure.
It's not always easy to understand what we do, and we stay within our legal rights. It's pretty amazing what we do, that our artists do, to keep everything above board without any legal issues.
Yeah, and I will give you, we've talked about this, I've talked about this on multiple places. The whole thing is skirting that IP line, right? And there's this understanding that if you change the IP so many percentage, I keep hearing 20%, 30%, What is the reality on that, Darren? I know we've talked about this before. It's been a long time, but what is the reality? What does the law
Tell
say?
everybody to change stuff at least 20%. And and after you and I talked, we implemented some change into like what we do. I would probably not do this cover again or allow this cover again.
Yes.
There's other things like the Doom covers with Robert Downey Jr., in the Doom costume. Once again, we make them change the costumes at least 20%. And we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to make sure that if it's a Robert Downey Jr. comic book, you have his face in it. And thanks to you, Brian, and also a couple other people that I work with, we're not going to let that happen again.
And I think this is an important thing because, listen, nobody wants to stop something to have their business be hampered in any way. You have this train that's on the tracks that's moving at a decent speed, and there was this little bit of wobbling going on, and I think that what you have to do now is fix that wobble, and you're trying to do that. When we first talked, Darren, the first thing that came up was, I asked you, I said, are you understanding? Do you hear what the collectors and the retailers and the creators and the industry is saying? And you said, yeah, we hear them loud and clear.
I do.
What does that mean to you?
I do listen to people.
Well, I just let me.
Sure, Emmett, go or Dennis. Sorry,
I'm Dennis.
Sorry.
I'm the other old dude with the gray beard.
Yeah.
You said that there was a lot of misleading stuff about you and what you guys were doing, but I mean, Brian, put that Doom cover back up. You don't think putting something like this out is not misleading? There's books
Tribute of Jack Kirby.
Yeah, and Jack Kirby. Hold on, can I finish the sentence?
Sure, go for it.
And Jack Kirby didn't draw that. One of your artists drew that.
One of the retailers' artists drew that. Yes.
Okay. Yes, but you don't see, if a person sees that at a convention, they think they're getting a Marvel book starring Dr. Doom.
So when people see that, Saffron swimsuit special 18+ Princess of Power edition with, She-Ra.
I don't even know who that is. Who are you talking about?
That was Brian McClay's book that he had at
Big Legs book. Yeah.
With Big Clutch.
Yeah.
So if you guys are calling us with all this copyright infringement stuff, and you're saying all this copyright infringement stuff, I just kind of also want to let you guys know on your podcast, because I did scroll a lot of stuff before this, and I prepped myself for this interview. And I want this to go super well. But when you guys are posting pictures of I Love Lucy and Superman on with your ads and stuff, that is literally copyright infringement and trademark infringement. You cannot use those images without proper authority.
So how much do we charge for this show to watch?
I don't know.
Hey, chat, how much did you pay to watch this, chat? Chat,
yeah,
can you just, in the chat, tell me how much you paid to watch this?
It's probably free, but still you can't do it.
Well, that's the difference of this conversation. I really don't care about that. What I want to know is, Darren, you have final editing before the book comes out.
Yeah.
You're saying that's now going to change. What changes are you making for TidalWave, for yourself, and your other team members moving forward?
A lot of the books that we do, like the Steven Spielberg thing, is if you look at the difference between what the Steven Spielberg the Little Golden Book and ours, there's no difference. There's E.T. on the cover, and I just found these the other day, so I didn't even know they existed, and they are unauthorized biographies. And as a child, from the 70s, I read all these little ones, and if you look at even the back of it, you see there's pretty much everybody that we've done, Elvis, Dwayne Johnson, Oprah, all that type of stuff. So we are within our First Amendment rights. And then when you're saying there were skating lines, just like in the Zendaya book, Spider-Man's right there. But is that Spider-Man? So this is Random House rather than ours, which is,
Well, yeah, but hold on. Is there a single on the Zendaya book?
Is there what?
Is there a single trademark or anything on the back of that book? or in the indicia?
Neither one book has any.
No. Open the Zendaya up into the indicia.
The indicia.
First
yeah.
page.
It literally does not say it is unauthorized biographies. All of these are unauthorized biographies.
Does it say unauthorized biography?
Actually, this one does not, because they're within their First Amendment right to be able to do it. This Caitlin Clark one, which we did the comic book of Caitlin Clark, actually does say, this one does say, and you can buy these at Target, by the way. This work is an independent biography and not authorized or sponsored or endorsed by Caitlin Clark, nor do the team's organizations that she's affiliated. So it does say that in this one.
Yeah.
But we've heard from Caitlin Clark's people, and they're fine with the book.
Right.
They liked it.
So
I think that's
to
real
go
quick.
back to my question. To go back to my question, what is the editing team doing in the future that is different from what we started talking about at the beginning of the show?
One of the things that I talked to Brian about is putting together a team of people to help me maybe navigate the covers a little better. And so I have 3 people who are going to be renamed or not going to be named that are actually helping me navigate towards this. I've been doing exclusives only for about 2 years.
By yourself?
Hold on. What?
You've been editing. You've been the only person.
Yeah, but I've also been editing. But I've also been editing comic books for 25 years.
Okay,
So
no, that was a simple question. Simple question.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have worked with Carrie Fisher to do this book, and we have it signed by her. You know, and we donated. This is back in the day when we donated a percentage of the nonprofit to a nonprofit of her choice, and we used to do it with the Bipolar Foundation. We've just not have been, because we are churning out a lot more product. We don't have time to maybe reach out to people, and we don't really need, you know, because I did watch your thing, and these books are not for everybody. And if you don't like it, don't read it. But nothing. Did you guys? So when I sent you guys the books,
Yeah, I have
Brian,
them right here. I actually want to, you know, before we get too deep, I want to bring this up. So, you know, the books that you put up, especially like the Steven Spielberg one, right? I think that these books, and you're really proud about these books, and I give you credit for the books that you have created, and I feel like they're celebrity books. They're talking about the celebrity. Hold that one up real quick, Darren. The one in your hand, the Steven Spielberg.
here's the one.
I don't want the little
but
books
your
one.
your
I don't
A
want
covers are not.
Hold
what I
on,
think
Emmett.
we
Hold
have a
on, Emmett.
problem.
I don't want the golden books. I just want the other one. Just hold up the other one. So these are the books that you are selling on like Amazon, in bookstores, Barnes and Noble, right? And I don't.
And just FYI, because of you guys, we are signing with Fiblo, or is it Filbo?
Filbo.
Distribution.
Good.
Because we are going to try to get into the comic book stores.
Well, good.
So,
Good. And I don't think anybody has a problem with these books right here, Darren. I think
I
that
know you don't.
I think
I know
that,
you know what you're talking about is going into the exclusive world.
yes. And
Well, no, actually,
no,
no,
hold on. It is
Brian,
what I'm talking
don't
about.
speak
Can you
for
let
us.
me finish, Dennis? Just let me fucking finish. Hold on here. Chill out.
Jeez,
I think
Anthony
that
all over again. Great.
No, man, I just want to finish my point, bro.
Wow.
Yeah. So I
If I
think
would have known all this stuff was happening, I would have changed outfits.
I think that those books aren't the big problem. I think if you're keeping these about the person, you know, that Steven Spielberg book, if it was like Dennis was saying, a Jack Kirby book, Jack Kirby's on the cover, even if Jack Kirby would have been in that Doom and it was just been a Jack Kirby thing, I think we'd have been okay with it. I think it's those retailer variants
that you would have been okay with it.
I think most people would, Darren.
And I appreciate what you Brian, what you and I have talked about. I do appreciate you. And so that's why I did make changes, and especially like that. I would not do a cover like that again after the conversation that we had, and hiring 3 people to kind of help me with these different things. I do take advice of what people say, but I also, at the end of the day, it is my decision, but I will listen to what everybody says. And we do things differently than a lot of other companies. You know, yeah, I think putting John Bernthal, I listened to your thing, you know,
yes.
on a Charlie Cox comic book was weird, but he is inside the comic book but now we do have one on John that's coming out. So,
but
yeah.
Can we talk about that for a second here?
But did you guys read any of the books?
Yeah, I
Or you
checked
guys
them
just
out.
read
I
a
checked
book
them
by a
out.
cover?
Yeah, I checked them out. I think
But
that
you
they're
guys,
good.
the three
Yeah,
of us-
no, but
I just
Can I
sent them,
speak
by the
now?
way. Yeah, I just sent them the email. Go ahead, Dennis.
it's not the content of the book. It's
But have
the
you read the book?
misleading. Okay, are we gonna just interrupt me, Darren?
No,
That's
go
fine.
ahead, Dennis.
I'm sorry, Dennis.
Oh, well, yeah, you didn't want Emmett interrupting you or Jesse, so I'm just letting you get your words out so I can finish a sentence. It's not the content of the book. I love Steven Spielberg. I'd love to read a Steven Spielberg autobiography. And if you got a picture of Steven Spielberg and it's a painting not done by AI, I'll also add that, but that's a totally different topic for the end of the show.
Great.
But it's when you put E.T. Steven Spielberg on the cover, or you allow a retailer to put E.T. and Steven Spielberg, that's it. The customer thinks not just
Random House. Sorry, just proving a point.
pull back
Random
Dr.
House.
Doom. Pull up Dr. Doom again.
I don't
Okay.
have Dr. Doom. I
Well,
said that was wrong, and I said not
Okay,
wrong.
but the point
And
is
that we
you
changed.
didn't see it was wrong until people told you it was wrong. I'm Jeff Goldblum. You saw somebody else do it. You didn't ask whether you should do it, and you just asked, could I do it? And you did it.
It's not wrong, and we're with once
Yeah.
again.
Yeah,
our amazing-
again.
our artists do an amazing job to keep everything above board with
Nobody has
without
said
any
your
loophole
artists suck.
issues.
Not one
If I
person
can't
said
pick out the 20% change, so in court you
I'm not
want to
gonna go
fight
through
out
every
what the
single book that we've
20%
ever
change is.
done. Yeah,
What?
I'm not going to go through every book that we've done.
Darren, this is the type of stuff though that I think everybody's mad about. Like, this is a perfect example, and I'm glad that you decided to, instead of doing a Charlie Cox book and putting him on a Charlie Cox book, you're putting him on a John Bernthal book.
Exactly.
But this is one of the recent ones from a retailer who got Rudy AO to do a cover. This is the cover, Darren. Look at this. It is it's the image behind it, and he added what feels like a couple of splash points. And even if he did paint this traditionally, it's
He does
still
paint it traditionally. Yeah, Rudy AO is pretty amazing.
Darren, this isn't amazing, man. This isn't, I'm sorry,
So-
dude. This is not amazing. This is the type of stuff that should not be allowed.
Okay, but you putting Shira on a book is allowed?
Yes, because the Shira stuff wasn't ripped off from this photo. Look at this photo, Darren. It's the exact same thing.
I'll have to look into it and I can get back to you guys on it, and I'll ask Rudy what he's changed. But I've had a talk with Rudy about making sure stuff has changed. Some mistakes have happened in the past, but once again, we're within our rights to do these. And
It's not
they
about
are
the
changed.
legal rights at this point. It's about being
What?
cheesy or not. To us, it's not about the legal rights. I think for the most people, other than DC or Warner Brothers and Disney and those people, that's the legal rights. I think for the
Can I
most
ask you guys
part.
a question?
Well, hold
So
on. Let me
I-
finish. Let me finish
in
this real quick
25
before you
in
answer that
25
question, Dennis or Darren. Let me
Yeah.
just finish my point. I think for the most part, it's not about the legal things. It's about feeling like the art has been ripped off from another photographer, artist. A lot of the artists that I talked to in San Diego felt like it's giving them and their profession, their trade, a bad name, and that's a big deal.
And we have had this problem with biography comics since the day we started them.
Not this
People don't
problem.
get what we do.
Not this
Oh,
problem,
yeah,
Darren.
yeah.
No, not
We
ripping
started-
off art. Not ripping off
We
art.
did.
This isn't
The
an
first-
IP thing we're talking about. We're talking
Wait,
about
hold
ripping
on.
off art.
Can I finish?
Yes.
The first book we ever did, or one of the first books we ever did, or probably like 10th book we ever did, was one on Lady Gaga. We got sued because some artist copied a photo exactly to the thing, and we got sued by Corbis. Totally. And so we learned our lesson at that point that we didn't
You
get
didn't learn the
sued.
lesson.
We did learn the lesson, sport. You know, I will
I'm
check with
sport
Rudy.
now. Okay.
I will check with Rudy AO. And
All right, kiddo.
rock on. So I will check with Rudy AO and find out what the difference is, and I will get back to you.
There's no
books that I
difference,
talked to-
Darren.
It's
It
it's
looks
not
just
about
like
the differences,
picture.
like the
Of course.
30% thing on that.
You might
It's
think it
about
looked
being
like the picture,
cheesy.
but it's different.
It's about being cheesy at this point. But listen, let's get back to, okay, so that's one thing, right? And you said that you're going to make changes. You have this group that you feel like will be able to help you say, hey, this feels a little off here. This needs to be changed. I think that's a good thing. I think you need to have some people that you trust that have been in the industry a while that can tell you, hey, this might not be liked. This might not be looked down upon. And you handle the legal stuff. I mean, you already know the legal stuff. That's your bread and butter, right? But I'm talking about like the optics thing. It's always about optics too. And you know, one of the things that we talked about is some of the art on these books is lacking. And I'm not the one saying that. I'm hearing this from a lot of collectors, retailers, and creators. And you kind of agreed on this. You know, let's be honest, you kind of agreed on this. Do you feel like your brand has become, you know, a little bit higher of a brand and put on a little bit of pedestal now that you've had the success you've had, the artists that you have working for you, that maybe you need to vet the art a little bit more? What are your thoughts on that?
My thought is that before all this variant stuff, my company has been in Entertainment Weekly. It's been in Time Magazine. I've been on CNN, Fox News. I've been everywhere. And there's thousands of other publications, you name it, we've probably been in it. Vanity Fair, TMZ, all that type of stuff. This is a novelty. We're bringing new readers into comic book stores that have never read a comic book. And when we were with Diamond didn't get us. And so we ended up leaving Diamond, and then we went with Ingram, which is the #1 distributor, book distributor. And so we now do most of our books that way. Yeah, as I said, we now just signed on with like Filbo, and we are going to try to get into comic book stores. And a lot of our books, why I think we do so well is because, you know, people forgot about us in the comic book world because we left Diamond. But now we're, you know, we've been doing good and we do well.
What about the art, the quality of the art though, Darren? What is your thought process on that?
So I think, okay, and to be honest, you know, I think art is subjective.
It is.
And I do think art is subjective. And so when I get to work with smaller retailers that can't afford Marvel, DC, Image, IDW, all that type of stuff, they get to work with us because I like the smaller people to work with. You know, Laura Prestos is like one of the most amazing people and the most fun people, and just gets it and loves what we do. And she would not be able to be where she's at without starting with us. And she does such a great job. But sometimes these artists, you know, maybe not be the quality of a Greg Horn or whatever like that. But you know what? Some of these people, I had one submitted the other day and he told me his daughter did it. And you know what? It was great. And it was good. I thought it was really good. But you also have people like in Arkansas, which did a Dolly Parton comic book with us, and they wanted one of their local artists to do a book. Was the art fantastic? Not really, but they know how to promote their stuff. So if a retailer thinks that they can sell a book, who am I to kind of say no? And if they have the story that is behind it, and I know you have issues with some of like the covers that have come from a mutual friend of ours. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, they think that this retailer thinks they can sell it. So am I looking just to make a buck? No, but they literally know what they can sell and what they can't sell.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay.
So Darren,
I'm good with that. I mean,
yeah, Darren, let me just ask a simple question. I'm trying to backtrack here a little bit. The Joker Batgirl cover, you said at the beginning that's a cover you would not have done. You won't do it again?
I won't do that again. No.
Okay. And why is that?
I just think it was such a controversial cover, and I don't really like. I personally am probably literally the biggest Batgirl fan ever. So, and I get the controversy behind that. So I would not do it.
Do you know the history of this cover, Darren?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the history of the cover.
Okay, so for those of you guys that don't know the history of this cover, I wasn't using that as a gotcha, Darren. I was using that as like a segue or a segue.
I got you.
So to segue, for those of you guys that don't know about this cover was done originally by Raphael Albuquerque, 15 years ago, I believe, during the Snyder Capullo era, New
Actually,
52 era.
only 10 years ago, Brian.
Okay.
It was 2015.
Okay, so and it got put in Diamond or in previews. It got solicited, and there was some backlash about it because of whatever reasons. And DC decided to pull the cover. Now, here's the thing about this. It's such a great cover. The original by Raphael Albuquerque, such a great idea. Everybody that was a Killing Joke fan and Batgirl fans alike loved it and wanted it. And there was just some backlash, and I believe Raphael Albuquerque was the one that asked DC to take it down. And I understand that. But immediately they started doing these fake printed on, Kinko printer covers of this book and selling them, and it became a big issue.
So, Brian, one of the things that they did was instead of releasing this in the spot where this was, they made a blank cover, which everybody immediately went out and had their favorite artists draw this cover on the blank. And then somebody said, oh, we'll just cheat right through that and print right on the blank surface.
Yeah. So
my final question on that is, you're making a conscious decision as Darren Davis, TidalWave, that you would not do something like that again.
Yeah, I've talked to
let me just finish the part. Yeah. Is that how you will be looking at covers going forward?
Definitely. Because I might do this differently. So like when it comes to working with retailers, because I work with them one-on-one, and I've talked to Very Gary about this book, and he's apologized for it and putting it even in front of me. And I work with these people day in and day out, and I treat these retailers with such respect and gratitude as well. And I work with them on not just cover concepts and that type of stuff, but finalizing things. And if they have a story that they want to tell with a cover, I listen to them. And so he had at that time, once again, as I said, you can see behind me, I am the biggest Batgirl fan. That's going really slow.
Yeah, you got it.
And it kind of bothered me a little bit, but I definitely would not do that cover again.
Okay, but my question is, Darren.
Yeah.
At the point at which, who was the store that did it? Very Gary?
I was just, okay.
Okay, and at the point at which Very Gary came to you and said to do this, and you say that you knew about the past of this exact cover and why it was pulled and, all of the backstory, you still said, okay, hit print, send it off to the printer and let Very Gary have it because it's a special story that he wants to tell with this cover.
Yeah, it was so much like that. It was definitely not like that. So,
well, that's sarcasm, Darren, and I'm asking you as the person who is inevitably...
I had a personal conversation with Very Gary about the book before it was done, and we talked about it. And end of story. It's pretty much, I think we beat this dead horse.
Moving forward, how
I don't think we have, Darren, because you don't admit that it's wrong, except for in the past.
I did say it was wrong. I said it twice. I said it
going forward.
Yeah,
but going forward.
I said also going forward that I would not let a cover like that happen. I've talked to Gary today about it. I would not let it happen.
Going
forward, it won't happen. Anything else, Dennis?
Yeah. Well, I want to ask something real quick. So, what is the what is the way that this works if a retailer wants to do an exclusive variant with TidalWave? How does they reach out to you, and how does the process work going forward?
People submit concepts. They email me. They submit concepts of what they want to do. And then I will send it to like my 3 people that I will do it with. And then we decide if they should go ahead or not. And then the finalized product. That's pretty much it. And then we go to print.
Do you have to see, like, I mean, do you run these things through like a Google reverse image search? Do you run them through an AI?
1,000%. I do run stuff through Google image reverse. And I do tell people that they have to change stuff. Rudy AO is a perfect example. I had a talk with him, and there was a cover that came up that looked super bad. And I was like, and I went to the retailer and I said, you can't do this. This is wrong. And so they went to Rudy AO and he changed it and did it. And voila, it got fixed. So,
Yeah.
and Rudy AO is a very talented artist. And I think sometimes, yeah, things fall through the cracks and we've made mistakes. I've made mistakes. And we have a trio of 3 that, you know, we're going to try to slow down mistakes and not make
Darren,
mistakes.
I know this has gotten a little spicy, but ultimately, I think that this is the type of conversation that's important, because we have this conversation. We see that, yes, I understand why you feel like, hey, this is your brand. This is a big deal. You have been in this industry a while. You know, you are a longtime creator in this industry. You've had major moments of success. So I understand all that. But we're giving you a chance and you're taking it. And I think everybody appreciates that, to say, yes, we see the changes. You know, when I started getting bombarded by messages and calls about books, one of the recent books from Rudy AO was this Alex Ross homage.
Yeah,
and
that's changed.
Yeah, so
and that's Comic Tom that did that.
Yes, and listen, I love Comic Tom. I think that Comic Tom is above board on everything he does. I don't think that there's anything that he's like doing on purpose to try and cheat anything. I think he's an honest businessman. And I immediately called him and I said, Tom, you know, hey, I've been hearing about this crypto book. And Tom said, listen. And I said, does Rudy, you know, is this just a flipped image that he's done and sent to you? And he said, no, Rudy paints traditionally. And he explained to me how Rudy paints. He explained to me how he has paintings of Rudy. So I get that. And I get that it's an homage cover. But I think some of the problem, and I think even Tom kind of agreed on this a little bit. I'm not going to put words in his mouth. But I've talked to a lot of people about this cover. And, you know, you see the similarities on this. And it is pretty glaring. I mean, the clouds are the same. The cape shading is almost the same. And I get that he changed the dog's face a little bit and put a little extra fur on it. But I think that is kind of the problem, that people are like, man, this, I mean, if I was, and I'm not saying that I'm not putting words in Alex Ross's mouth, but I think some of the other artists out there are kind of like, man, that feels like they're just swiping my stuff. I mean, this feels like Greg Land.
That literally is an homage cover to the movie version of Crypto. And it really is. I loved the cover when I saw it, and I thought it was super great. And I thought Comic Tom had a great idea with it. And the building is different. The look at every other homage cover out there. This is literally, I think this is adorable. I actually bought one myself.
Darren, every other homage cover doesn't exactly make the same clouds.
I think that then we have a difference of opinion, because I think if you put them side by side, they are different. And this guy does.
Darren, look at this Y right here. Same Y, same cloud here, same cloud there, same cloud there, same shading on the dog. I
Brian,
mean,
you're missing that cloud's fluffier, at least 20% fluffier than the other cloud, Brian.
I'm just pointing these out, Darren. Yeah, I just pointing these out because I think these are some of the things that in the future, and I get it. These covers have been planned in advance. You know, this was probably put into works 2 months ago. I understand that, but going forward in the future, I think this is some of the stuff that you need, like. In my opinion, if I was in your role, I would say, hey, this is the stuff we don't want. Do an homage, change the angle.
I think it's super cute. I think it's actually nothing's wrong with it. It is a different dog. I know Dennis is shaking his head. It's fine. But
I know Darren is like waving his hand and dismissing anything.
I have a bobblehead too. So anyway, I think Comic Tom knows. Knows what he's doing, and at the end of the day, I do trust Comic Tom. I trust a lot of these retailers that they know what they're doing and know what they can sell. And I get where you guys are coming from. But once again, it is pretty amazing that these artists like Rudy AO can stay above board without any illegal issues. Whether you guys think it's moral or immoral, whatever it is, I'm not going to change your mind on that. Right. That's not why I'm here. You know, I'm not going to try to change your mind to stuff. It's not a big deal.
That was my question. is synonymous is legal synonymous with right?
Yeah.
Is that
Really?
where we're at?
So
Yeah,
let me ask you
really.
all a question. Let me ask you an individual question to each one of you. In 25 years, I have never been sued for anything in a comic book. Have any of you been sued for anything in a comic book? In the comic book world?
No.
Any of you? None of you?
Not me.
Not me.
Any of you?
In a comic book?
Anything has to do with the comic book industry. I've never been sued. Has any of you been sued for anything that has to do with comic books?
Well, you obviously
Sued as
have
in
somebody.
sued as in lost or won?
So you've been sued over something in the past.
Exactly. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been sued over.
Okay, I've never been sued for anything that I've done. So
No.
it's that.
I mean, I won in the end, but I don't understand the
Okay.
question. But let
That's
me ask you this, Darren. Let me ask you this, more of a business question.
Sure.
Again, I really don't care about this other stuff. What I care about is how TidalWave moves forward. What percentage of your business is exclusives, retail variances versus what you do as TidalWave as a whole?
I would say about 50% is to our national stuff. And, I think the exclusive thing has kind of taken way a little bit. And one of the things that I do differently than a lot of other publishers is I listen to my retailers. I hear what they want. I would never do I would never do a Mel Gibson comic book. I'm Jewish, but one of my retailers wanted to do Mel Gibson. And so I listened to them. And then when I hear like 3 or 4 people that want to do Mel Gibson, I will create a Mel Gibson comic book for that person.
So
Is it going to sell for me nationally? No. I'm trying to look at the books around here. Is my Michael J. Fox book going to do super well nationally? Probably not, but it's going to do really well for the retailer. So I really do try to listen to them, and I respect them, and
Sure.
I have a great relationship with most of them.
So let me do the follow-up question to what you just said. So TidalWave technically can't move forward unless it is doing exclusives because it is 50% of your business.
No, it's just 50% of my time.
Time. Okay, I thought. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you said. What percentage of your business is exclusive versus regular?
So, like a Chapel Ronin comic book that we just did, is not going to be. Retailers are not going to pick that up. The comic book industry is not going to see it because they don't care about Chapel Ronin. They care about whatever monster book or whatever, Wes Craven. I would never have done a Wes Craven book unless it was asked for. And that's where I'm listening to people and respecting that. But once again, my Chapel Ronin comic book did phenomenal in the national world. So yeah, and because it does get a lot of attention, a lot of press, and also the book is really good. Once again, have any of you, except for Brian, have any of the 3 of you read the books that you got or looked at the books inside? I know you're all bitching about the covers and all that type of stuff, but have you looked inside the book instead of judging a book by its cover?
Well, we're not here to judge the writing and the inside of books.
Make every book you want, Darren.
The purpose of this conversation was brought because of what people are talking about covers, and that's what they want to talk about.
No,
if we want to do a show about the quality of your interiors, then we can do that.
I think
that's not what the conversation is today.
You know what?
So you tell me. Let me ask you this. I'm kind of a calm person, and I'm going to remain calm here. But you're telling me that someone buys a exclusive cover from a individual store, they're buying it for the interior work?
So for me, yes. So I am somebody that will go. So I do things differently. I support my retailers. I'll go on Whatnot and eBay Live, and I will buy. I don't get comps on my own books, and I will buy books, and I'll do and it's become kind of a joke that I'll do openings of books just to do them. But I buy the books because I want to support these people that are supporting me. And so we have this, really good relationship with all that type of stuff. So, and in every single conversation, I'm like, and please read inside the book. It's a good book. So
Right.
yeah.
That-
So
and that's my point.
you're just basically saying exclusives are just made for. I just bought.
So you're telling
covers,
me,
that's-
Wait, hold on. So I just bought.
Oh my gosh.
Wait a second. Marvel and DC make tons of variants. All the interiors are exactly the same. Anybody buying the other covers is because they want that cover. It's not because they want a different interior. It's not a different interior. It's the same interior. They could buy the book that you produce, the A cover, if they wanted just the interiors. These are exclusively cover buys.
I bought.
This is why it's such a hot topic.
So just FYI, just from my perspective, so the Batman Hush, whatever that series is, I haven't bought any comic books in a long time. I bought the Batman Hush with the Batgirl and the Jim Lee cover because, as I said, I'm a big Batgirl fan. I bought the foil edition and read it. So I'm like, so yeah, that's what I want people.
Do you think the majority of people who buy variant covers read those books?
Probably not, but you know what?
Okay.
That's not. But I want them to.
We all want
Because
them to. I agree.
Remember that I employ hundreds of writers and artists and colorists and stuff.
That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. We love that.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just the same. People don't understand the biography comic book world and need to start pointing fingers. So,
well, I don't think it's.
listen.
And
so let me talk about the rumor thing, the rumor mill, and all that stuff, and how all of this like rumor started and all the stuff is. You know, there are people out there when we did so many exclusives with Dallas Con that they were going around and basically telling people that they're not going to work for Marvel and DC. It was pretty shitty. And there's two big, gigantic retailers that were doing that. And it's not true, all fake.
Well, let me just put this with a little bow on it, because for those of you guys that don't know, you know, I'm very well versed in the world of the comic books community, and that includes the content creator community, the industry community, that whatever you want to call it. There is some drama that goes on behind the scenes. There's a lot of envy and jealousy, and we all know that. And listen, especially when there's money involved, there's always going to be these things that happen. But I don't want to get into he said she said stuff. I want to ask Darren, do you think that's the majority, that the reason that there's so much heat on Fame Books and TidalWave is because of those rumors? Do you think that's the reason, Darren?
Yes. I think it's where it actually started from, to be honest. And it just took heat from that because we are successful, and you know, I do get that. So
yeah.
And people want to sort of try to take us down a notch. And
well,
you know what?
I'll say this openly. I'll say this openly, man. I personally don't think that's the case, but I get it. I say this all the time. It's easy to tell people, oh, don't talk about drama. You know, don't feed into the drama when you're not in the crosshairs. When you're in the crosshairs or feel you're in the crosshairs, it's a totally different story. So I'm not going to tell you that you're right or wrong on your feelings like that. You could be right. But I will say that for the most part, when anything comes up about TidalWave and Fame Books that's negative, it has to do with the retailer variant world. And there's a couple of things, two main things that comes up. Number one, art theft, okay? And I'm talking about art theft, stealing from Hot Toys boxes, other artists' work, and number two, AI art, okay? Those two things to me are the two biggest things. You throw in a third, and that's the IP infringement stuff. And the IP infringement stuff, we all know that. We've talked about that. We understand that you want to try and change that. You don't want to skirt that line. But I think,
but it's also everything that we've done so far is nothing has been illegal. So
yes, I get that, and we're not talking about the legalities. We're talking about, like Emmett said, whether it's legal or it's right, whether it's legal or people feel that it's cheesy or not, and listen, man, I talked to and this is me talking to you personally, not putting these other guys in the mix. I talked to a lot of creators in the last 6 months, and the 90% of the creators that I talked to, they are not happy about the art theft and the AI part. They're just not. And that's the biggest thing with these books. So, and let me explain why I think it's the biggest thing with retailer variants, and especially what you do, because you do employ a lot of artists that might not get the chance otherwise, right? And but the problem is that those artists are stealing from other artists or stealing from other places, and it gives other artists a bad name. And these artists that are getting a bad name, that name carries over to maybe even bigger jobs for them through Marvel, DC, Image. And they're being told, whether people want to believe it or not, they're being told right now from Warner Brothers and Disney, hey, we know what's going on over there. We don't like it. Heads up. This cover right here, I got sent information about this cover from DC editors, from many artists and creators, saying what is going on here. There was 3 covers that were talked about pretty heavily in San Diego. We've already talked about another one where people were like, this is not good for the industry. And it's going to be hard to employ those artists and give those artists opportunities when they're not going to be able to work for the other companies.
I think, as I said, it was 2 retailers that were walking around Dallas telling people that they're going to get sued if they work with TidalWave again. And it is also that they're not going to be able to work for Marvel or DC. Do you think Greg Horn and Tyler Kirkham are going to stop working for DC or Marvel?
No, but I know Nathan Zerdy doesn't want to work with you because of that.
So with Nathan Zerdy, just FYI, connect the dots of Nathan Zerdy. Who does he get the most work from? And where did Nathan Zerdy start out? He did cosplay covers and art books and nudes and all that type of stuff. And once again, has he ever done interiors? Which is not even the biggest point. The point with Nathan Zerdy, because it's come to my attention, a lot of retailers went to him and said stuff to him and on our behalf. And I don't care about Nathan Zerdy, but
I don't want to put words in his mouth.
Look at the dots where Nathan Zerdy gets the most work from, and then you can kind of put it together on who's started all this stuff.
Well, he gets a lot of work from Marvel and DC. I mean, DC specifically right now.
Brian, can I have the floor for go ahead, 2 minutes?
Yeah,
sure.
So 70 weeks ago, we had the infamous sketch cover debate on this show. And that led us to a whole different understanding and a lot of people saying, I want to be more legitimate. And then that about 10 weeks later brought Darren onto the show. And I thought the dialogue between all of us and Darren and explaining that, hey, I don't have a problem with Taylor Swift this or Taylor Swift that or Taylor Swift this. But when you put her in a costume that's clearly Dazzler, and I thought we agreed on that show, and I'll have to watch that show again. It's in the chat, right? Or it's in the pinned?
Yeah.
That you were going to move. I'm sorry?
And we did 10 covers of her in the Dazzler-esque costume. Yes.
Right. But I thought you understood that was deceiving and that you wanted to get to a different business model where that wasn't your business model.
I thought it was fun. I thought the Dazzler covers are fun. And I think that Sabrina Carpenter.
So you admit that they're Dazzler covers, though. That's an interesting point. But
okay. Yeah. Ooh, gotcha.
But that's the point, Darren. You're just making covers that are absolutely.
We're doing homage covers, which everybody does homage covers.
What homage had Taylor Swift dressed as Dazzler?
We got national attention for it. It was in Reuters.
O.J. Simpson had national attention.
Great, thanks. Should we do an O.J. Simpson comic book next?
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't. It's the only ambulance you haven't chased.
No, not true.
Here we go.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, hold on. And remember this, because we just released our tribute on Ozzy Osbourne, but we're really good to be in the likes of Time Magazine, Newsweek, and People Magazine that have already done it. So our comic book comes out December 3rd, tribute Ozzy Osbourne.
What is the process for an artist on going forward on cover and how a cover is going to be okayed? Like, do you just get sent? Do you
already?
Well, hold on.
We said that somebody will send in a sketch. I will give it to my people of 3. So we discussed that.
But do you just get sent the final image? Are you going to be asking for like sketches on stuff?
Yeah, we send process. Yeah.
Okay. That's specifically what I'm asking. Like, if you're going to be asking for totally.
And we're not going to be doing the Joker book anymore. We're going to cancel that just for people to do. So yeah.
Well, why? Why? It was successful. Keep doing it.
Okay, we will. Bam.
There you go.
God, you're aggressive. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna do what we're gonna do. And as I said, with talking to Brian, who is rational, it was a really good conversation with him, and I appreciate that. And it was very thoughtful. So we'll continue to do that.
Darren, let me ask you this question real fast. Do you think if you weren't successful as much as you are saying that you're successful, and I believe you, that's not a doubt there.
25
if you weren't successful, do you think this would we even be having this conversation?
Once again, I think this conversation started in Dallas with these 2 retailers going to different people and spreading rumors, which ended up turning into.
Wait, we know this show. Sorry to interrupt you, Darren.
Okay,
we were on this episode a week before Dallas discussing this very topic, much to Brian's chagrin, with one of your retailers, telling them what?
Anthony?
Yeah.
You kind of mentioned him a couple times. So
yeah. And I took the flack for calling that cover out.
That was a bad cover. And
that was a week before.
Totally. And that was a wrong cover, and they apologized for it. 1,000%. We have a different relationship than we had before. Ant is a great human being. He is a great resource for me. But yeah, they made a mistake. They trusted somebody, and the guy who did the art told them something else.
Yeah,
so that was a mistake.
So back to my question. If you weren't successful, would anybody care about this? That's my question to you. Or is it because you feel you're very successful that you're more in the spotlight?
Yeah, I think we're more in the spotlight now. Okay. You know, people do things when a business is successful. And so this is, it's kind of the same thing when we first jumped into the biography world in 2008, and people thought we did not deserve the press that we were getting or the attention we were getting. And people balked at us, and they only thought comic books should be superheroes and capes and that type of stuff. And so, but this all started, in the 50s with Bob Hope biographies and that type of stuff. So
one of the books that came out, I can't remember if it was Dallas or if it was C2E2, was this book from Trinity Comics. This was for your Michael J. Fox biography. And I first got wind of it. And when I first talked about it on the channel, I said, I was kind of pissed at it because the Almanac comic variant is a huge collectible, a grail book for a lot of, Michael J. Fox and Back to the Future fans and comic collectors. And it felt just kind of cheesy to me that they decided to do this again. But then I made that known, and I got reached out to by a couple people, including Matt at Trinity Comics. And Matt mentioned to me, and a couple other people mentioned to me, that they reached out to Michael J. Fox's foundation, and that Michael J. Fox's foundation logo is on the back of this book, not a Trinity Comics logo, if I remember correctly. They gave a portion of the proceeds. I'm not sure how much, but they gave a portion of the proceeds to the foundation. And Darren, I think that this is one of the shining examples of what TidalWave books can be. Okay. this is like, if this was something moving forward where, you know, you're working with some of the
So
celebrities that you're, you know, as a on for their charities, you know,
we
to
do
give money to
that.
their families.
The Taylor Swift book, literally a percentage of the proceeds went to the what was it, the Humane Society, and we also ran 2 ads for the Humane Society in the books. We work with a lot of nonprofits like PETA and, you know, the Bipolar Foundation and all these different nonprofits. We do run ads in the books for that type of
I
stuff.
think moving forward, me along with a lot of people who you know have been following, you know, comic books and the world of the comics and retailer variants and everything. This is something that I would love to see more of. If you can work,
I gotta disagree, Brian. I gotta disagree because this is all still within the umbrella of what we're talking about.
Well,
Universal. Darren, Universal paid a graphic designer to design that book cover. IDW licensed Back to the Future from Universal to print that cover as a variant cover.
We help.
And then Darren Davis comes along and says, hey, throw
Amen. We
a
help
couple bucks to Michael J. Fox or the Humane Society, and I'm going to make the bag off of everybody else's license.
I would rather have that than not. I would rather have that than not.
Fun? Why are you so cranky?
I would rather have that than not, though, Dennis. I think
Literally.
that most of us would rather have.
So why are we having the conversation, Brian? As long as
we're having the conversation because
put an ad in for something,
Can I
rip
give you
off
the
whoever
background
you
on
want.
this comic book, or does just Dennis want to be cranky? Chill out, have fun, smoke your cigar or pot or whatever you're smoking. Anyway, so the history with this comic book is that Trinity Comics was doing this, and they got screwed over by a printer, and they were going to do it regardless or whatever they were doing. And Matt came to me and said, "Oh my God, can you help me? Can you do this?" And yeah, he had Matthew Waite do the cover, and Matthew Waite, who is an amazing artist who knows how to change things from the original at least 20%. God, every time I see Dennis shake his head, I just want to do this.
Well, then quit making me shake my head, Darren.
Don't let it, Darren. Don't let it.
We're not going to be Facebook friends anymore. I'm done with you, Dennis. Actually, I will love you forever, Dennis. It's fine. You're cute in your daddy little way. But anyway, so we ended up helping.
We know who our waiter's secret dad is. Do you have a son that works in San Diego as a waiter?
Did he look just like Darren?
Because he said he loved Emmett and I as his favorite daddies.
Yeah.
Oh, was it Joe Phillips?
The high five. The high five.
Zach.
Yeah.
Zach was the best waiter I've ever had in my entire
So
life.
back
I'm old as dirt.
I do think Emmett's beard is a little more epic than yours.
I know.
Dennis,
I wish I had.
So, and he's wearing like this retro shirt.
Yeah, previous guide.
God rest Diamond Soul, whatever. Fuck them.
I think that the whole problem or the whole thing about at least contacting the people that you're doing the book on. I know that was a big deal with the Taylor Swift thing. You said that they knew about this. That
they did.
Yeah, and that's also important because I'll be honest, that's one of the things that is true. I've seen multiple posts with Charlie Cox, John Bernthal, all these people holding your books, excited about being on books, and none of us are. That's not. I don't think what we're angry about. We're not angry about
Gal Gadot. You know, we're doing Aaron Taylor Johnson, the guy that Greg Horn is doing this. Greg Horn is such a great person who works with celebrity who works with and works with these celebrities and getting stuff signed and and working with them. And you guys aren't bitching about those.
No, because here's the thing. I don't have any thought in my head of Greg Horn stealing work from somebody or making just grabbing a photo and just tracing over that photo. I think that's
a totally different Greg.
Greg Land, a totally different thing. But I think that's the thing. Greg Horn has over the years has set an example of what he is, and that's an important thing. You know what I mean? So it goes to me, the whole thing about this goes back to the art theft, the art aping, the AI art, and the IP infringement thing. And I think that the celebrity part of the books is not something any of us are mad about. As a matter of fact, I think that's a good thing. I think, given these
let's take a poll. 100%, Brian. I have zero problem.
Me too.
I bought your book since 2008. I bought your non-fame books. I bought your Obama, your Hillary, your Michelle,
books. Yep.
all of the books. I bought them all.
Here's Hillary's signed one.
Oh wow, that's crazy,
Fabulous.
dude. Yeah.
But I have a signed Gloria Steinem.
We in 0% have a problem with the interiors or the content.
The exclusive game has been get the bag.
I get where you guys are coming from. I totally do, and I hear everything that you're saying. It's sometimes, yes, Dennis, it's a little aggressive, and I don't deal with aggressive. I had an aggressive mom, so I don't deal that way. And so if I become aggressive back to you, I'm sorry. It's my mom issues. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to put out good work, and I'm trying to work with retailers, trying to do stuff. Yes, I've heard what you've said. Brian, you and I have had a great conversation. But once again, a lot of this bullshit comes literally from two retailers who are spreading. And once again, I hear don't shake your head. My brother's coming back to life. So, I hear what you say, but the narrative is these bunch of ego people are coming after TidalWave.
I get that, and you're in the crosshairs, Darren.
I'm not going to say names, but Brian, you know the names.
I know. I've talked to both, not both guys, but I've talked to one of them, and I'm talking to you about it, and I know the parties involved. I get it, but what I want to say is this: I think that the key to this is in 3 months or 5 months to see how TidalWave has taken all these constructive criticism. We're definitely trying to be constructive here. I know it got a little spicy, but we're all adults here. And listen, Dennis and Jesse, and hopefully Emmett wasn't in the original interview, but myself, we like you, Darren. You're very charismatic. I think that you have a lot of empathy, and that's important. I think that you've been in this industry a while, and we respect that. But in 3 to 6 months is going to be the tale. Like, how have you righted the ship? And how have, in 3 months, we could come back and it could be all different. Like, Darren, great job on all this. But the problem is going to be is that, what's going to happen if 5 covers come through where it's stolen art? Or I
appreciate everything that you're saying. I do feel a little bit like I'm being schooled. No,
I apologize if that comes off.
And it does come across that way with all of you guys. And it does feel like you guys are trying.
But you love retailers, Darren.
I do. Have you guys ever done anything with me? No.
I bought so many of your books. If you go on my Amazon inventory and you type in fame, 20 different titles pop up.
Okay. Well, thank you. But have you done an exclusive with me? We're talking about the exclusive. We're not talking about the books. Remember?
No. So this is back to, well, if you don't do this, then I have no reason to talk to you.
Jesse said we're not talking about my interiors or my regular books. We're talking about only exclusive covers. So
yeah, I wouldn't, Darren, I wouldn't do half of your exclusives that you made because they rip off somebody else's IP. I don't want my brand associated with that, period.
Great. And that's you're allowed to do that. And I don't need to, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this 25 years. Yes, once again, I'll admit that we've made some mistakes, totally made mistakes. Great, it's done. But we'll move on from those and then go forward. But once again, I work with some great retailers who also have my back and who I have invited to watch this program.
And there's a lot of them in the chat, Darren. You have a big cheering section in the chat, including longtime community members here.
Jesse even said not to look at it, so I haven't looked at anything. So
yeah, they're out.
Darren, let me ask you this, because I've only asked you questions. I have not directed anything at you, just for the record. So my other question to you is, if we just go back 3 years ago on your business mission statement, has that changed over the couple months, or is it still the same mission statement?
to produce good books and get people to read and get kids to read and really support the comic book industry, 1000% is what I want to do. I want to make sure that kids are reading my books. This Caitlin Clark book is a really good book. It is amazing artwork inside. And you know what? Read the books. That's what I want. At the end of the day, yes, it is fun to do exclusives and that type of stuff and variants. And
it's profitable. I don't know how fun it is. I mean, that you look at, I don't see the fun in it. It's very profitable.
But you also have to realize too, Emmett, that I got screwed, to be honest, by Diamond. They bought 40,000 of the Justin Bieber graphic novel that we did. And they ended up selling them to Walmart. And I said to Diamond, I'm like, nobody can find this book. Why? We sent it to them. Why can't you keep this out? And they said, well, that's just Walmart. And so we got 38,000 returns. And so that's when I left Diamond. I was like, go fuck yourselves. You literally suck. And I started to beat to my own drum. I was one of the first people to sign up with Comixology. I try all new things. As I said, Philbo Distribution, we're going to try to get back into comic book stores in a different way. Do I want to go to Lunar? No. Do I want to go to whatever Diamond turns into? No, I want to do things. I try things and I try new people out because I do believe in this industry and I do love it. And yeah, I think we've come close to the sun. I don't want to get that big of a tan. So yeah, I'm going to pull back a little bit. But at the end of the day, this is a business that is successful right now. And 2 years from now, we might not be. People might get sick of us. There's going to be the next thing that comes along, and which is fine and great. But I'm still going to, and then when that happens, I'll go back to my national world and do stuff. But I love my retailers. I love working with them.
Yeah.
Brian, before you ask the next question,
yeah.
And more of a serious question, what was your goal today coming on this show? Did you have a goal to come on, or was it just to talk?
Clear the air.
My goal, actually, I did have a goal. My goal is to finally get my side out there because I've been quiet for so long.
Yeah,
because you see all this stuff and you see all the negative comments. You see all these armchair activists saying like, fame books suck. Okay, once again, they're not fame books. They're female force. They're tribute. We do a lot of biographies that are across the board. So I'm not going to do another interview. I'm not going to do another podcast about this. I'm not going to do anything. This is a one and done. So yeah, I just wanted to be able to talk about it, and whether you guys get it or not or whatever, that's up to you guys, and that's up to the audience too. But I'm not going to talk about this again because I just don't think it's mentally healthy for myself personally, and I don't think it's good for the company either.
There is something I do want to talk to you about that we talked a little bit about when you first came on. And, you have some IPs that you've worked with over the years that have been very big IPs, 10th Muse being one of them.
Still comes out.
Yep. And this is a big deal. What is the future of 10th Muse and any new IPs that you might be creating on your own? Is that still in the plans for TidalWave's future?
So what people don't know, because they only see the biography thing, is that we are up to, will you hand me one of those books right there? Hand me the bottom one. Yeah, hold on. So we do a series called The Bold and the Brave. You might roll your eyes at it because it is every single book, and this is issue number 55. It is 10th Muse and one of the other characters that we created. And it is all original stories, great artwork. And every cover is an homage to the original Brave and the Bold series with 10th Muse. We're at issue 55. Has anybody talked about this? No.
No. And that's a problem, Darren, because that is something that we should be championing, like that stuff.
We have Nanny and Hank, which has been optioned here. let me see. I have everything at my fingers here. We have.
But Darren, that's kind of the point, Darren. You have made so many great products for 25 years.
Mhm.
And the last 6 months of your brand have been marred with rubber stamping, AI art, total rips of other people's art, other pictures,
You're
everything.
saying that we do this on a regular
No, we don't think that it's a regular basis.
do
We,
this on a regular
it's just the
basis.
last
No,
There's
couple
been
months.
accidents that have happened.
My father taught me one huge lesson.
Please.
For
what is that?
every 10 attaboys, it's all undone by 1 fuck.
Totally. I commend you.
And you've had so many fucks since before Dallas that you've done away with us ever talking about any of the other stuff you're doing, Darren. That's what we're trying to. Yes, we're trying to school you, but we're trying to educate you that you don't need this. You are successful without this shortcut to popularity and time and Newsweek and whatever you think you're doing.
I appreciate you saying that, but at the end of the day, I don't think there has been some mistakes that have been made, like you've mentioned, but for the most part, I think we got this whole thing kind of covered, and we are going to move forward, and we do work with great artists. But I thought we're not allowed to talk about books that we do, but I do. I release 10 books a month. About 5 of them are fiction, 5 of them are nonfiction. Nobody cares about our fiction stuff because but that's the way it's always kind of been, except when we worked with like William Shatner and did Tech War, and we did Ray Harryhausen's Presents and all this type of stuff. I'm pretty good at what I do. And yeah, you're chalking it up to like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 mistakes, or what you guys think are mistakes. But once again, our artists are so good that they do stay within the legal limit. And whether that's uncomfortable for you guys or not, they are within the legal limit. And at the end of the day, once again, all this crap literally started not even before Dallas, but there's been people out there that have been sabotaging, that owed me literally tens of thousands of dollars, a retailer out there, and was basically going behind my back and slamming me to all these people just to save face, because when they were to ask him, why are you not working with TidalWave anymore, they would have to save face and say, well, their stuff is too close to the sun. You're going to get sued. You're not going to work for Marvel or DC. And that's the honest to God truth. Is that
I've heard 5 different retailers that have never done a variant with you tell me the complete opposite of what you're saying, that these guys, they're saying, I don't know why they are doing this and how they're getting away with it. And because of what they're doing, I won't touch their books.
Because they don't understand what we're doing.
They do. If you don't think we understand exactly what you're doing, Darren, then you're delusional.
Not really. I think.
Okay, raise your hand. Does everybody think they know what Darren is doing?
I don't think I have an idea.
You wrote George Lucas.
My two little bearded boys.
You wrote George Lucas so you could slap Darth Vader on a comic book cover.
Actually, that is not true. I did the George Lucas book probably 10 years ago.
And so you dusted off George Lucas so you could slap Darth Vader on it now.
But I did the Carrie Fisher one.
Well,
with Carrie Fisher.
Here
for
is
the
something,
Foundation.
Darren. In all fairness to that thought process, one of the things that we do here, and that I've heard from retailers, not including the ones that you think are what it would be, but I've heard from retailers that it feels kind of shitty because they pay, $20,000, $15,000 to have to do a Doom variant through Marvel, whereas other retailers, found this shortcut and they skirt this line and go pay less to do it through a TidalWave book. I have heard that. That is definitely one of the things that I've heard.
Yeah, Marvel and DC have made it expensive for
They
people
have.
to do stuff with.
They
And
have.
I'm not saying, yeah, and just FYI, just something, because I did this, just came up. So on your last podcast about us, you kind of mentioned that people come to our booth and I've had Marvel and DC people come to our booth and yell at us and all that.
I haven't mentioned that. I don't think I mentioned that.
You did mention that. Somebody mentioned that. I think it was actually you. Actually, yes, it was actually you on the last podcast.
But I've heard. Okay, I haven't seen.
I haven't had a booth in 15 years.
Well,
so
no. Let me tell you what I heard on that situation. Here's what I have heard. I have heard at Dallas from people that there was a moment where people were coming up to somebody's booth at Dallas talking about the Fame books and saying that they had a problem with it. That's all I heard.
2 retailers.
Okay. Now I didn't see it. I didn't notice it, and I wouldn't say that I was there because I wasn't. But I did say
that we had a booth. You did say that I had a booth at Comic Con.
Well, if I said you had a booth, I apologize. I was wrong on that, and I didn't mean that.
But that's like all like this miscommunication stuff.
Well, that's why we're having you on, brother. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
I'm glad you brought that
Darren,
up.
you have to see the irony of you're selling a Doctor Doom book, and people buy that thinking they're going to get a story about Doctor Doom.
No,
the day that the AI Darth Maul showed up in my feed,
It wasn't AI. It was art theft.
Hold on, let me just explain.
That was a mistake. The artist literally.
I'm just trying to.
He's trying something new.
He wasn't trying something new, Darren. He's been caught for that 6 or 7 times.
Totally, and I did not know. And at that point, they made a mistake. They handled it. It's done.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, the day that I got back from Japan, they had just announced a Darth Maul. What?
He was there for Celebration.
Tokyo for Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
And they announced that they're doing a new Darth Maul series, and my feed is full of Darth Maul images. And I'm like, oh, cool. Marvel's doing a Darth Maul comic.
And that was the message that Dennis
Darth
sent
Maul
me.
series.
Yeah.
So once again, we've talked about this before. And I hear you. You've just mentioned that 8 times already, and it was a mistake. And I said it was a mistake.
And we've given them the benefit of the doubt on that.
People don't understand what you're doing, or it's only 2 retailers trying to trash you.
Oh,
I'm
no,
just saying.
2 retailers that were trying to trash me. One, as I said, owed me $40,000. So, and didn't pay me.
Well, call them out.
No, I don't want to get into that right now. I'm not here to do that because the other person is not there to defend themselves. It's not worth getting into right now.
No, the other retailer knows that I was going to go on your show and say something, and I could say names, but I'm not going to do that because that's shitty. And I'm not going to do that to this retailer, even though he said I could. I'm not going to do it. So.
And I thank you for that. I just don't think it's necessary for that tonight. I
want to hear from Emmett. I want a big, good, juicy question. My little bear.
What is it that I've been called that many times.
Daddy.
What is your price for your books? How much do you charge for your book when you put out an unauthorized? What's the cover price on those?
On Amazon, it is $8.99. And the reason why is because if you look at the traditional comic book, it is not.
No, it's a little larger. It's better quality. I see.
Actually, it's not. It's actually a little smaller than the traditional comic book. Because if you look at this,
it must be the camera.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Everything on camera is larger, Emmett. Come on.
Me too.
It adds 10 pounds. So, but the difference with our books is that they have a spine. So they can go on a shelf. It's actually a cardstock cover.
So what are the retailers selling their covers for, their variant covers for? Are they selling them for $8.99?
They can sell it for whatever they want.
I know I
don't know. I can't answer that because everyone is different. Some people do it for $19.99. Some people do it for.
So we know now what the business model is.
My business model,
not your business model. Their business model. I think that I think the opposite's going to happen. You're going to get flooded with requests from other
We do,
people.
and I'm fortunate to
I'll
be
be
able
right
to have
back, you
that.
guys.
I love working with people. So
Right.
that's honest to God. And Dennis, you and I want to create something together. I'm done. And Jesse,
I'm pretty sure you were in San Diego about 35 years ago and got really drunk, and you created something, and that was the best waiter in San Diego, Zach.
do we have a baby?
You might. I'm telling you,
You
Darren.
and I have
35
a
years
baby,
ago, you were in
Dennis?
San Diego.
You and I have a
Okay.
baby? Wow. Okay.
The next time you're in San Diego, go to
Jesse.
Ray's Seafood right on the harbor
Okay.
and ask for Zach.
I will. That's fine. I'm married. I'm actually married, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, you guys can adopt this guy as your kid, because I'm pretty sure
We
he's your
already
kid.
have 4 kids.
Okay,
And-
well, there you go.
Yeah, and grandbaby too.
Fantastic.
And Jesse, I want to hear
Darren,
from you.
I've loved everything you've done. I sent you that text from 10 years ago in our Facebook chat, where I was commenting, the ambulance chaser of comic books is at it again, out of love. I love the work you do. And I'm telling you, for a guy who has supported you for 25 years, you're over the line that I am comfortable ever supporting anybody at.
I understand that. And I do understand that. And once again, I said, we've come close to the sun. I don't want that big of a tan. So, it all started back in the day with rock and roll comics.
Yeah, I was about to mention that.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
I have so many.
What's the name of the guy?
Jay Stafford?
No, the guy that did the Dahmer book back in the 90s.
I have my limits of what I'll do.
Hunt something.
I'm not going to do.
No, but that was an integral case that makes the industry support something like this. He's like, look, it's in the news. I'm going to do it. Dahmer versus Jesus, and he did the comic book. He got sued. He fought it in court, and he won. And it's a championship for our industry.
Well, the championship for the industry is literally, rock and roll comics. In 1993, they got sued by the New Kids on the Block.
Yep.
And it ended up setting precedent that comic books can be biography without it being copyright infringement. And
I just think that you have.
I can't sell a print of this, and I can't put this on a coffee mug or anything like that because it's within a personal right.
But you also can't just reproduce their album cover on the comic.
No, you can't.
Okay, because that's art. And we're saying is somewhere between that and 21% or more from that is where we're comfortable supporting Darren Davis and TidalWave.
Totally. And some of those stuff, there is going to be some of the stuff that, we are going to stay within our legal limits of stuff that you might not be comfortable with.
Dennis Fisher was the name you were looking for.
I saw it. I just thanked Larry for it in the chat.
Okay.
I think you love your retailers, but I think some of them have come to take advantage.
I will agree to that to a certain extent. Yeah. But we have an open communication, and I do talk to a lot of these people almost every day. I talk to a lot of the artists every day. I have good friends that technically I shouldn't probably be friends with people that I work with, but
something
like
that
my world.
If I could give just a little piece of advice on that, it's hard to take, but sometimes it's good to have people in some, an acquaintance with or somebody that may give you a little shit here and there because they're going to tell you the truth on something that some people that are really close to you might not want to tell you because it might make you mad. And
I'm 1,000% open to people's opinions and their comments, like you when you and I talked.
Yes.
And
I appreciate that. I think that's a good thing, Darren.
But I'm not going to create a line of, oh, here's the Fame Light, which is basically like the bad covers. I think that's a terrible idea. And because I think that's insulting to these artists that are doing stuff. So
I get that. I understand that. Okay. We've had you
most
on
of the
for-
artists and the retailers that we are working with are doing such great work, and so a lot of this has been negative. But can we talk about the positive stuff?
Yes, that's what I want to get
2
into.
minutes?
Yeah, that's what I want to get into.
Positive stuff needs to happen, because literally, otherwise, this just becomes like.
Well, I want to get into that. I do
Yeah.
want to talk about that. Some of the things that personally I do like. I've talked to retailers about this. I've already talked about Comic Tom this one. I want to shout out Davis Ryder. I like the fact that you do give the ability to do some of these covers that they wouldn't be able to do otherwise. And I think that there's this weird line that happens between like other comic book IPs like that the comic book companies have created, and like say like horror IPs like Jason or Freddy and that, or Nintendo, or not necessarily Nintendo, but like anime and stuff. And I think that some of those covers have been really great, and they've done a great job. Davis Ryder did an amazing job on the Michael Myers cover he did, the 141 homage. I thought that was so great. It was an homage that was different, but you immediately knew what it was homaging, okay?
Are you talking about famed John Carpenter?
I believe so, yes. The
Okay,
one,
yeah,
the
that's what we make
X-Men
it called
141
books.
homage.
And just FYI, in every whatnot chat that I go into, when they go, "Oh, look, it's Doom," I'm like, no, it's actually famed Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
So I do correct.
But that's why
people,
that's them. But I'm glad you do that. But it would be better if that a perfect example is this, right? Let me bring this up. Is this right here? There is a you do these, if you're going to do these fame books, right? A perfect example is if you're going to do a Doom Robert Downey Jr. book, at least have the like I'm okay with that. This is the problem where you're going.
I told you that. Yeah,
and we've talked about this. Yeah, we've talked about that. But I do think that
change. Yeah.
There are some really good ones. I do want to go back a little bit though, and I want to talk about something that I witnessed in San Diego that was amazing. I'm a huge fan of Mark Brooks' art. I think Mark Brooks is one of the best comic book artists in the game right now. And everybody knows this. I'm a huge fan of creator firsts. And I brought 2 creator firsts to Mark Brooks. So they were the same book. And Emmett was there when this happened. And I put this book in front of him. And Darren, he about shit himself. He was like, "Where did you find this? I can't believe this. This was the first cover I ever did. This is crazy." It was so cool to watch, brother. It was really cool. And so I got him to sign it.
I actually put that on I think it was this cover. I think I put it on like, I do these like things to give out to retailers and give to other people. And I put it on like a preview book at New York Comic Con. I think it was last year or something like that. Because I love this image. Judah Girl is like
fantastic.
Yes. It's based off Mary Tyler Moore. For you older guys, which I don't know which one of you guys are older. It's based off Mary Tyler Moore from the Dick Van Dyke Show. It's where I got the inspiration for creating Judah Girl.
And Rob.
Yeah, exactly. So I made Mark sign a copy of it too. And he's an amazing, and to see where he's come and gone, amazing.
Well, not only that, his very first 2 covers were on the same issue, which is the same issue, just variants, which was amazing. This was another one. He did the interior arts, I believe, for this too, if I'm not mistaken. And then in the same book, you have an early Scotty Young cover. That's the variant you did.
Wait, go back, go up. So that one right there, like pointing. No, one more down.
This is the variant you did at Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah, so we did that because Laura from Presto's Comics loves Scotty Young and loves Scotty Young stuff. And so she saw that cover and I'm like, oh, we've never done a version of it. So yeah, I own the rights to this. Great. And Scotty Young is a fantastic, amazing. And it's nice to see all these people grow.
Yeah, this is the original right here, you guys. Be on the lookout for the one from Avatar.
Talon Caldwell used to be like a big Top Cow artist. Christian Gossett did Red. I forget that book that he did, but they're all big artists back then. I used to represent all these artists, getting them. And just FYI, so look at who published it. This is where I'm going to be
Avatar Press, right?
So Avatar. This is where I'll be totally shady now. So who do you think owns Bleeding Cool?
We
Yeah,
know.
Christian.
William
Yeah.
Christensen.
So all the negative bullshit stuff that comes from Bleeding Cool is because we literally lasted 3 issues, 10th Muse, Atlas, and I think that was it. Actually, I think it was 2 issues. And then they were literally double charging us for diamond ads, and I made no money from them. And so I was like, what the fuck is this? And so that's one of the reasons why Bleeding Cool has a hard on for us.
No, well, I mean, Rich has always detested stolen art. He has.
That's not stolen art. I'm talking about this.
We know that. We know this isn't stolen
I'm not
art.
talking about this. I'm talking about when you get accused of stolen art, it becomes on his radar.
Rich Johnson, we're whatever. He wanted to do a royal wedding comic book. We were doing one, and he asked me to do one with him. This is after he wrote all the shitty shit about us. And I'm like, we're already doing one. And he's like, so he made it into a competition with us. So I was like, okay, whatever. And
welcome to the world of the comics community.
Well, and I'm not saying it. I'm not saying that it wasn't 100% about that. I'm just saying I don't think it was just because of that, because he just loves stirring the shit, and it's a slow news day, and you get accused of something, he's going to jump on it.
Well, that's so honestly, and that's what Brian said to me, is that right now it's a slow news time, and so we're it. So if it brings more eyes to our stuff, I don't like it, to be honest. I don't like this bullshit. It sucks. And these armchair activists who just write stuff, I listen to stuff with a grain of salt, but people in the industry, yeah, I do listen to. And people like you guys who are seasoned. And yes, Dennis, you can be a dick sometimes. But
most of the time.
But at the end of the day, I get where you're coming from, and I do hear you. But calm it down. I'm totally kidding.
Hey, Darren, welcome to my world for the last 75 episodes.
He's like my little nugget Santa Claus right there.
By the way, there was a comment in last week's episode or the week before that said something about, what was the Dennis about you quit smoking, quit eating, take a walk or something.
Eat a salad
or something. And by the way, you guys, in San Diego, both me and Emmett and multiple times walking with Dennis, I had to tell Dennis, slow your fucking roll, dude. I don't walk that fast. This guy is
he works circles around us.
Yes. Yes, dude. So I'll give you credit for that. But Darren, I think, like I said, it did get a little spicy, but I hope you know that we do like you, and we do respect your.
You like me?
We do, and we respect your brand. We respect you in the industry. We respect you being a vet of this industry and what you've done in the past. That's very important. And we wouldn't have you on the show. I don't think I would have reached out to you the way I did otherwise. Don't get me wrong. We would have had you on the show if the platform's open to 90% of people, unless you're a major douchebag, and I'm not going to have you on here. But we liked you, man, and I want to see TidalWave succeed. I think these guys want to see TidalWave succeed because it's good for the industry to have multiple publishers.
25 years.
25 years. That's important, dude. That means a lot.
We're not going anywhere. We're basically the cockroach of the comic book industry.
No, don't say that, dude.
Okay. I just shared something in our group chat, Brian, that I just want to end my segment with.
There we go.
No, I will not sleep with you. God damn it.
Go to the Coldplay concert with me.
Go to the Coldplay concert with you.
Why do you look like a Bernstein bear?
That was before the heart attack, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was pre-heart attack.
Yeah.
That was pre-marriage.
So I had my son whip that up for us. So, yes.
Darren would have been on the show last week, but he was at a Broadway concert, I believe, or a Broadway play on Tuesday night. So,
are you on the East Coast?
In my Taylor Swift, Hardy to you. Do you know how many of these fucking books I bought because of this not dumb, that's my vernacular, because of this podcast? And look at this. This is the Michael J. Fox with him on a hoverboard.
Darren, can I tell you a story about Golden Books? So they hold a very warm place in my heart. When I was
I've
young,
got a huge collection of them.
when I was
Do
young,
you have the
me
hairstyles?
and my dad I would sit with my dad in the recliner. My dad would say, pick a golden book, and we had a bookcase of golden books. And I'd pick my golden book and he'd read it to me. And my favorite part at the end was he would turn the back cover and we would get to search for characters on the back cover. Like you know,
Oprah?
right? And it was such, I have a bookcase of Golden Age books from when I was a kid because they mean so much to me and they meant so much to my brother. And I would suggest that anybody use golden books to help teach their kids to read. It's a long time thing that a lot of kids learn to read on golden books. So I think it's cool that you have them.
So a second, I love that. So there's a
stomp on
app
it now.
called, there's an app called Epic with an exclamation mark after it, and it is a kids app where they have a lot of books that you can read and that type of stuff. But it's also like stuff that's timed and that type of thing. We do really well on that app as well. And because, you know, a lot of the stuff that we try to really do is we really try to do like, you know, like when it comes to our female 4 series, it really is about female empowerment and doing stuff, you know, whether we get boycotted by Fox News, which we've gotten because we did a Jill Biden comic book and did do Melania. But did I show you guys that before?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
So,
Last show.
But yeah, but these are, I want kids to read this stuff. And kids, we do a lot of stuff with schools and libraries. You know, some moron, which is nameless, I'm just going to, like, he just said, oh, the golden books, screw them. You know, TidalWave should have their books and, you know, kids should be reading them. I have so many kids reading our books and so many parents loving what we do with our national books. Yes, I get this variant thing is a thing, but read the books.
Yeah.
Read. And you guys, you 3 right there.
Hey, I read more comics.
All 21 books that I sent that were written by, like, I think Michael Frisell wrote, like,
I just sent them before the show, the email.
Yeah. Not enough time because I had to eat dinner before.
That's my fault. That's my fault.
I sent it to
him
Brian like a week ago. So
I did send it to
Brian
him.
was gonna send it to us, but
Yeah.
then he got high.
But then I got high.
Yeah.
Yes. But okay.
read the books. They're fun. And
Before you
the
leave,
art-
Darren, I do
Yes.
want to ask to the chat if there's any questions that they want answered that we haven't already talked about, and I'll try to filter those. But I do want to give the people who put out super chats a chance. Now, a lot of these super chats were early in the show, so take them with a grain of salt. I'll say that.
I don't even know. where
Shout out
cats
to
are.
Alex. Shout out to Alex Lodermeyer with a $10 super chat. He says, Darren, no disrespect, but why wouldn't you just make new books and new IPs? Why get in this trouble with the gray area with old and likeness IPs? And I think later in the episode we talked about how you have your own IPs. So I think that was kind of answered.
Yeah, totally. Thank you, Alex.
Yep. And Alex dropped another $10 super chat and he says, Darren, sell me on TidalWave and what you bring and publish. And I think you've done that over the episode. So I think
because we produce really good books that people should read, and they're really researched, and the art is really good on the insides.
Yep.
We have so many artists that we work with that are great. And
Kyle
writers
Willis-
that are great, and inkers and colorists and letterers.
Yep. Kyle Willis sends a $10 super chat that says, support for your local recreational outrage podcast today. Thanks for the $10, brother. And then Alex Alex finally drops $5 super chat. He says, to Darren, if your company still comes up in a negative light, why not pivot to different focus on what you publish? And I think
I posted something on my Facebook that I beat to my own drum and I bring my own tambourine too. I think I posted something about that, and that's what I'm going to do. And, you know, I've been successful. I've been alive for 25 years in the comic book industry, making a living in comic books. So, you know, I'm just, in the words of Madonna, which, you know, Dennis, Madonna,
Detroit girl.
Yeah, we're just gonna, I pivot, I move, I do, you know, as I said, this new thing with, like, you know, this new distribution company that we're going to be working with might change it a little bit. You know, I try different things. So I'm going to be here for a while. And if not, I'm going to work at my husband's restaurant.
There you go.
Hey.
All right, my final.
Shout out your
my
husband's
final-
restaurant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to
Hales,
Hales.
Hales, Hillsboro.
Okay.
So
Come
I
on,
have
guys.
I
Road
have
trip.
two final things. None of this Wawa chat when you're on a show that we have Bucky fans on. That's the first thing. You go to Bucky's, you drive that extra mile. You're talking about Wawa's, which is about 1,500 square feet versus 70,000 square
Funhouse.
feet of the greatest place on earth.
Funhouse asked, "I'm going to
Hey,
Wawa.
can I ask-
Anyone want
can I ask
anything?"
you- Jesse, so you're driving back and forth from like Phoenix and wherever. it is.
Yeah.
Do you have the roadside attraction app?
No, I do not.
Get it. It's called
Okay.
roadside attraction, and it is the best thing in the entire world.
All
You
right.
can find the biggest ball of hay or anything like that. It
I
is
will
the-
definitely do that. So for Darren, my close is, I'm all about comic book therapy. Next time you're in Florida, please let me know. Beaver Nuggets, I got you covered. Bucky's all the way.
Hearts.
Emmett,
If
you got
you're ever in
anything?
New York, if you're ever in New York, come by Haven for Heroes.
Where is Hayden for Heroes?
I'm in
Which-
Port Jervis, New York.
Where is that? I
It
grew
is
up.
on the-
I was
Go
a
ahead.
Long Island boy.
Okay, so end of the train line of the Metro North.
Who's
on
going
the
to
Delaware?
Who's going to New York Comic Con? Raise your hand. Can we all do a group hug?
Yes, we can.
sure.
Can we
100%.
really like take a picture and hug?
100%.
Are you
And
going
we can
for
go
the
eat
publisher
dinner
track?
Am
and
I
share a drink as well.
I'm going with. We're bringing a Power Ranger with us.
Yeah, but I'm saying Wednesday, make sure you talk to Alex Ray over at New York Comic Con because Wednesday they're having a retailer day,
Okay.
and that would be the place to outreach back to retailers.
So we
Yes.
get beat up. They're like,
No,
"Oh,
I
here's
don't think
Darren
No,
so,
no, I'm
dude.
telling you, the
Yeah.
retailers don't have a
Listen.
problem with the normal fame stuff. It's just that skirting of the line.
I get
And
it.
there's a lot that don't have a problem with the skirting of the line when they can charge $40
Yeah, that's the
for a-
other flip side.
for a $9 book. They can charge 40, and you're getting none of that, Darren.
And I know. So the way I have to explain to my husband is because he gets kind of pissed at this stuff. He's like, "Oh, they're making this. What? This on a metal? Oh my god!" And so I've explained to him, I make the Beanie Babies, and I can't charge what a Princess Diana Beanie Baby is going to.
Okay, Boomer, it's La Fufu now.
I
It's
love
La
those.
Fufu now.
La
La Boo Boo
Boo-Boos
now.
now.
Not
Yeah.
La Fufu. La Boo Boo. Darren's
I
gonna
saw
bust out
somebody
the
La
La
Fufu.
Fufu.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, so available next week is the creator of Labubu comic book.
We have been seeing those. We have been seeing
And
those.
you know what? I give comics exposure. They asked me to do it, and we put together this comic book so quick, and it's so good, and it's so fun because this is such a cultural phenomenon, and on Whatnot, it is the #1 selling item, comic books, sports cards, anything like that. And so I love the Labubus, and so you can get the Creative Labubu comic book
Awesome.
on Amazon now, or
That's
you can just buy. Actually, Night Comics does a really great job with them as well. But Comics Exposure is the one that asked me to do it, and they do a great job.
Good. That's cool, man. Well, listen, my final thing is just to thank you, Darren, for coming on, man. And I
Take
can't
it
wait.
easy.
You know, we're going to bug you. I know you said this is your last podcast, but in 3
This is
months,
my last podcast about the drama,
got you.
because the drama, it really is. In all honesty, and this is my last thought on it, is that yes, I get we go close to the sun. I do get that. And as I said, I don't want the tan. So we're going to pull back a little bit on that. But at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff, if you connect the dots to the people that are saying stuff about me, it would be really clear. So
We're going to give you the
a lot
benefit
of-
of the doubt here,
it's a
man.
lot of nonsense. It's a lot of nonsense, and it's a lot unnecessary nonsense that people are just talking about shit. So
Well, we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt here, and I can't wait to have you back on, and I can't wait to see you in New York, my brother. And
Yeah.
thank you so much for
Love
coming
it.
on,
Bye.
Darren.
Yeah,
Yep.
there you go.
Cosmos.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Get
Darren.
drinks or food or something.
Yeah.
Appreciate you,
Okay.
man. What is there anything coming up next that you are excited for before you call it a night on the show?
I don't even know. I literally have 125, 132. So, okay, let's be honest. Who knows who Harold Robbins is?
I've heard that name.
The writer, you're talking about the author?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is one of the top 5 best-selling novelists ever.
Yeah.
Including Shakespeare. So we're doing a book called Harold Robbins Presents Spellbinder. Is anybody doing any what's called on it? Is anybody doing any wow, you are really good.
I'm quick on the ball, right?
So we are doing we're working with the Harold Robbins estate. Jan passed away, who was his wife, and just recently before the book actually came out. But we're doing this book and it is great. We have the TV rights to it, movie rights. We're trying to get this thing into a movie. Nanny and Hank, which is another one that I sent you, we actually probably have a TV show deal with. So
and Darren, let me just add just one last thing, and it's not a criticism. One of the things, because I have a lot of artists that are friends,
right?
One of the things that pisses them off more than anything else, especially Rob Liefeld, when you do an homage, you have to have your artist say after who it was.
I get that.
And that's one of the things that also, I had heard that at San Diego twice. When it's an homage, just give that common courtesy to the homager.
90% of the time we do that, and I will actually look out for that more, to be honest. I don't look out for that, and I'll look out for that more.
Amen. Darren, thank you, my brother. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, puddle.
We'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Okay.
Adios.
Big hugs.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, Darren Davis from TidalWave. That was a very interesting show, a great special for the industry comics. That's the type of stuff that we try to do here. I know a lot of people think, oh, the guy got really crazy there for a moment. That's the conversations that we want to have. Like, we're adults here. We can
and we don't want to. Here's the thing: we don't want to have to pull back from it.
No. Right?
Because of a hurt feeling or whatever. We want to have the conversation.
We're all super passionate about the comic industry.
Yeah.
Comic books.
Yeah, but
like,
keep in mind,
good place to love,
Right. Keep in mind, good business people, it doesn't matter if it's in the comic book world or whatever.
Yeah.
Should be able to handle conversations like this. The intent is, how do we make this industry better? How does TidalWave become better? And we need to know that. And the best way to do it is from the owner, the person who has that mission statement, who's ready to get to the next stage. Listen, he's got New York Comic Con coming up. He's got bigger things to fry than what we're doing on this podcast. Right. But the notion that he came on this podcast, I think, is a win for TidalWave, is a win for Darren, and is a win for those retailers and supporters on his site.
Amen. Couldn't have said it better. Ladies and gentlemen, not immediately following this episode, but hopefully in the next 45 minutes, I will be live on Whatnot with a few of the San Diego Comic-Con books that I brought back from San Diego, including, some signed Sveta Shabina books, the very first Sveta Shabina book she ever did. Excuse me. I'll also have a bunch of variants from San Diego, including the books you're seeing here. I'll have a set or two, maybe one set or two of these beautiful Suspiria books. I'll have some of the Pete Carroll books. I'll also have a very, very special book. I am going to be selling one of the limited Beyond Wednesdays grommets variant, the very first Beyond Wednesdays variant, signed by a large, like 5 of us Beyond Wednesdays guys. I'll be dropping one of those books. I will also have some Mark Spears book, which will be great. Some of the variants from the con. 90% of these are variants from the con. Also, I'll have Bill Sienkiewicz signed books. I'll have Ryan Otley signed books. I will have Lobos' very first book. That's the grommets book right there, signed by all of us. I will have Lobos' very first professional work he ever worked on, which was a self-published book when he was in high school, signed by Lobos, which is awesome. Yeah. And a lot of really good stuff. So that will be in about 45 minutes or so. The link I have pinned in the chat. So go follow that. That's a Tahani Farr signed book, Dave Wilkins signed book. That's a number to 25 Sean Forney, Mike Zeck and Larry Hama signed book, Tony Moore Walking Dead signed book, Todd Knock, Ryan Otley. That's Raphael Albuquerque, Bill Sienkiewicz. There's the Lobos book right there. Natalie Sanders, look at that. Joe Benitez, G.I. Joe signed book. And these are a lot of the San Diego Comic-Con variants, including the Voyeur Ass Can. That's signed, that's numbered. That's the Ignition Press book, and these beautiful Sveta Shabina variants that sold out at San Diego, where I'll be giving half of all the proceeds to Sveta herself. And that's a signed Sveta book. So make sure you guys check out the link. It's live in the chat. That'll be in about 45 minutes. We'll see you there.
I've got a shout out. You've got 15 minutes to spare. Go over, check out my newest YouTube drop. I just did an unboxing of my first in-person delivery of PSA Comics. Some really cool books in there.
Yep.
And it's 15 minutes, so that'll give you 30 minutes to get some food before Brian's live show.
Can we talk about the Rob Liefeld thing real
Ladies
fast?
and gentlemen,
this is
after you
I'm
show
just gonna
this.
I'm gonna share this real quick. This is
okay, thank you.
Yeah, this is Dennis's new video that he put up. So there you guys go. If you guys want to go check it out, go ahead, Jesse.
Yeah, can you talk about the Rob Liefeld thing I sent you?
Yeah,
because I think that's very important. That really only has it by Tuesday. It won't mean anything anymore.
So was Rob Liefeld trying to sell his Deadpool cover for $7.5 million? Rob Liefeld's original New Mutants 98 Deadpool cover was listed for auction at $7.5 million asking price. That was quite a while ago that happened, right? Heritage revealed the seller approached them after a massive success of Deadpool Wolverine. Social media clues suggest Rob himself may have reacquired and now wants to sell the iconic cover. If sold at that price, it would set a new world record for original comic book art.
Yeah, sometimes when you see stuff like this, folks, it's about keeping your name in the public, keeping your name at that top of the list of conversation. I don't think it's really about 7.5 million. I think it's about getting this out to the public that, hey, I got this item. This is what I feel it's worth, but follow Rob Liefeld. And I think this is a great marketing venture. Yeah, I think it's just free marketing for Liefeld at his finest, at usual, finding things that would interest people, pulling back from it, and getting that marketing from it.
One of the coolest things that happened at San Diego, we're all standing at Clutch's booth, and we're bullshitting with him about, how cool it is, this and that. And all of a sudden, Rob Liefeld walks over. Clutch sees him. Rob Liefeld walks up, shakes Clutch's hand. I'll talk to you later. Yee got to stop Rob real quick and go, Rob, the podcast has been so great lately. It was like I was like a deer in headlights. I was like, what is going? It was so cool. Rob walked around. He even sat in at Murat's booth while Murat, went to go take care of business. And so shout out to Rob for, walking the floor like that. It was super cool to see, man. Super cool to see. So,
you want to tell him a bit?
Yeah, I'll tell a story. So we went to the cigar bar every night.
Every night.
You like the whiskey joint. We like the cigar bar. I'm not cigar guy. Dennis is, but it had the best people watching location. And so we're sitting out on the thing, and who comes walking up? A whole entourage of people. It's Rob Liefeld, two people next to him.
Jeff Loeb.
Yeah,
Robert Kirkman.
Yeah.
Right behind him was Kirkman.
J. Scott Campbell. No, J. Scott Campbell wasn't there.
Yeah. No, somebody else. There was 8 people in this thing.
David
and Rob
Finch.
is kind of in the middle, kind of stuck in there. And Dennis goes, "Hey, Rob." And Rob looks back. He stops, cuts out of the group. The whole group comes over, fist pounds Dennis, gives him a, hey, what's going on? And then gets back to his group. But it was very cool. He completely broke ranks to dap up Dennis.
Good
and
dude,
that's
man.
But that's who Rob is.
Yeah.
He doesn't forget the people that have helped put him where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then I just got one pickup and I gotta get out here. So I picked up a collection today that I was not trying to buy. I made him an offer. He still stole it to me. Dang it. But anyways, at the end of the day, I really didn't look at it because I wasn't interested because it was statues. But I'm like, you know what? I'll buy it because he's got some comic books in there. And I get to the very bottom, and this is in the bottom of the stack. This Daredevil sign, 9/8. This is signed by Joe Quesada. But what was cool about this,
The back is the
check
best.
out the back. Jimmy Palmiotti
Oh,
did a sketch on the back, a remark on it.
That's
That
so
was
gorgeous.
freaking awesome. And what was even more awesome, doing this for 43 years, I have never thought about this. Not only did it come with the COA, they actually put in the Sharpie that he did the artwork on.
That's
Is
got
that
real
not-
Jimmy Palmiotti DNA and
DNA.
fingerprints. If you
Yeah,
ever want to cause a
exactly.
crime,
Yeah, that is awesome. So anyways, I just wanted to show that sometimes you buy something, it's like, I really don't want to buy this. Doesn't make sense.
All
And
the
then at
time.
the end, you get an awesome piece.
All the time.
Brian, can you pull up my Facebook
let me see here.
just to piss off Emmett Moore?
Oh yeah. Fuck you. You'd think in New York I'd have a lot of shots at this kind of stuff.
This didn't even come from America, Chief.
Oh, really?
I'll tell the story real quick. So I get a call from Windsor, Ontario, and I answer the call, and the guy's like, "Yeah, I hear you buy manga," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm cleaning out my collection, and how much do you pay a piece?" And I tell him my minimums, my the maximums, that kind of stuff. And he goes, "Okay, I want to come over on this day." He calls me when he's leaving the house. He's like, "By the way, how do I get this across the border?" And I told him a couple things to say, and he was like, he got to the border and they didn't even ask. All of this was in the back of his van, and they get there and they start bringing this stuff in, and it was in 2 giant black
Those
totes and
box
4
sets.
giant boxes.
Fuck.
And I tell you, this is 1,250 different manga. And it was probably the biggest collection of manga in one, lot.
Lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I get 40 in at a time, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's incredible. All the box
And
sets
all
and the,
of that
with the
is gonna go to-
boxes.
Yep. All of that's going to go to the new store in Toledo, and I'm just going to put it out as the inventory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's
Very
instant
cool.
inventory.
Yeah.
Congrats, man. Congrats. And fuck you.
Hey, hold on though. This is the other thing, and you guys will know. I had X amount in my pocket, and he wanted X plus, and I have all my change to break down. I didn't want to have to drive over to the bank. I had all my change, like my extra 5s and my extra 10s and my extra 1s. I got all the way down to the extra 5s to finish the rest of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to break into the petty cash to finish paying for it.
We brought up a key collector at one point in the show, and I want to give Nick a shout out because he's been doing something that I really love lately. He's been doing this thing for cons where he'll say who's going to be at these cons, and he'll put up cool books, that might be a good idea to get them signed. And this week is Terrific Con. It's going on August 8th through the 10th.
Everyone's going to be there.
And this is cool. Look at that. He's got Brian Polito, Evil Ernie, to get signed. Mark Silvestri will be there. This is the first artwork. And Nick, I love my creator first, man. These are all right up my alley. House of Mystery 292, first Mark Silvestri. Digital Webbings Presents #2, first Scotty Young. Scotty Young will be there. Amazing Spider-Man 238, John Romita Jr. is going to be there. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Kevin Eastman's going to be there. So he's doing this really cool thing. Chris Claremont, Joe Jusko, Humberto Ramos. This is very, very good idea, Nick, and continue doing this. Great job, man.
Yeah.
Right. And it should be said that the Key Collector exclusive is being given away free.
Ooh.
He is not charging that to people. So go to his page. You will find out how you will get that free. That was brought up today. That is a free giveaway.
And this is, by the way, you guys, I talked about this the other day. I know some of you guys don't like it. I love it. I think it's a great idea. The Origin of the Impaled edition. This is their Key Collector exclusive. They did a comic book based on how the origin of the Impaled edition, only 36 copies of the Impaled Cul-de-sac #1. And by the way, I read Cul-de-sac and it is awesome. Jonathan Wayshak is such a great artist. He did interiors cover. Like, this is such a great book, by the way. Check it out. Good stuff. And yeah, shout out to Key Collector and Nick. Yep. Listen, you guys, thanks for hanging out. In about 45 minutes or so, I'll be over at Whatnot. The link is pinned in the chat, and I'll also drop the link in the community post. And check it out. It's pinned in the top of the chat right now. We'll see you there soon. Tomorrow night, House of Stein. I just got, finally, I put in an order. So for the House of Stein packs that I did, I bought the the Gemini graded comic book mailers, which they just created, and they're really big, and I felt like they weren't sturdy enough, so I bought some extra poly bags, some padded poly bags that will fit those in there, and a Gemini mailer so I can put your books in. I will start shipping the Stein packs in those poly mailers this week. So Stein pack winners, you should be seeing those soon. So we'll be House of Stein tomorrow night, Modern Comic Mayhem on Saturday, and then we have another big sale on eBay Live on Sunday night and eBay Live on Monday night as well. We'll catch you on Whatnot in about 45 minutes. We appreciate everybody that's hung out with us tonight. Thank you for supporting this channel, and much love to Darren Davis for sitting on the hot seat tonight. We'll see you soon. Adios.